You're welcome to my channel. I want to share today an overview of Cisa certification, and I will start with the main one, information system auditing process. As you know, Cisa has 5 chapters or 5 domains, as we call it technically in the Cisa certification exam. So the first domain is information systems auditing process, which is 21% of the syllabus. So what are we going to be looking at in domain one? Domain one syllabus is broken into two. Part A is planning, part B is execution. Of course, before you go on audit engagement, you have to plan. And that is why the foundation is laid in part A of the CISA review manner. So in planning, we'll be looking at IS auditing standards, guidelines, code of ethics. So that is the regulatory environment for the auditor to operate in. So we have the IT assurance framework, which was developed by ISACA to guide the auditor's work, to provide mandatory requirements that the auditor must follow in the course of executing an audit. There are so many of those standards. For example, we have audit charter, which is the first standard. And the idea about audit charter is that the board of directors in a company must delegate power, must delegate authority to the internal audit function. If not, internal audit will not have clouds. They will not have the power to be able to ask questions, make inquiries in the organization. So everybody in the organization will see audit as a representative of management. Because actually, it is management that has a responsibility for audit. But management being management, they will not have the time to be doing operational audits. So they need to create a department that will be saddled with that responsibility. So audit, internal audit function is basically representing the board of directors of the business. And so we need an official document called audit charter stating the authority, stating the responsibilities of the internal audit function. Professional independence is another standard. That is, the auditor should be professional in his relationship with the auditee. So you avoid relationships, you avoid actions that can make, an independent observer to conclude that the auditor is not independent. You have financial interest in the business of the auditee. You and the auditee, you are into joint venture together. Familiarity as an external auditor, you are always sending one engagement partner to the auditee for the past 15 years. So, as so on and so forth. We have also organizational independence. The auditor is supposed to be independent of the area he or she is auditing. So you can't audit yourself. You have to avoid self-review at all costs. The auditing, the IS auditing standards in IT assurance framework is about 16. So that is just an excerpt or an extract out of those 16. Then we have guidelines. So guidelines are meant to support standards. So guidelines provide guidance on how to meet the requirements of a standard. So when you have audit charter, for example, then you have a guideline on audit charter that will now explain in detail the audit charter and what you need to do to meet that requirement. Then we have code of ethics, which basically determine the way an auditor should behave, what is allowable, what is not allowable. That is what we have, and ISACA has its own code of ethics. Then the second aspect is business process. The best auditor is the auditor that understands the process. Simple. Whoever understands the process is the best position to audit the process. And that's why Isaka is always emphasizing the fact that you must understand the process you are auditing first. Whatever it takes you to understand the process, that is, you have to give it. Because if you don't understand the processes, you can't understand the risks in the processes. If you don't understand the risks in the processes, you can't determine whether the controls are adequate or not. Then we look at it, different types of controls. Preventive controls, corrective controls, detective controls. And in the exam, you need to be able to determine which is which. Background check, is it preventive, is it detective? Internal audit, is it preventive, is it detective? Hash function, is it preventive, is it detective? Private key cryptography, is it preventive, is it detective? You need to know, is it corrective? So backup, for example, is a corrective control. Access control is a preventive control. All right, internal audit is a detective control. Then the next one is risk-based audit plan. So, like I said, in business processes, you need to understand the organization, you need to understand their processes. So once you understand the organization and their processes, you'll be able to know areas of high risk. The audit must always focus on the areas of highest risk. Then the last aspect of planning is the types of audits. So we have forensic audit, we have operational audit, we have administrative audit, we have IS audits, all right, and so on. So as an auditor, you're expected to have all these knowledge in domain one. Then the part B is execution. Now you have planned the audits. Now let's go to the sites. Let's go to the auditing sites. So we need knowledge of audit project management, scope management, time management, resources management. All right. So basically, our knowledge of project management, body of knowledge, will also help us here. It will help us in domain one, it will help us in domain three, because every audit is actually a project. So an auditor must be a good project manager. Be able to manage man, machines, and money as a good auditor. Then we have sampling methodology. Of course, you use sampling when you cannot do 100% testing, when it's not feasible because of time limitation, because of cost limitation. And by the time you choose to sample, you have introduced a risk called sampling risk, because there's a possibility that the population, the sample you are choosing is not actually reflective of the population. Then we look at audit evidence collection techniques. Can use inspection. Can inspect. You want to cite an asset. You can use observation. You can observe a process. Right? You can use inquiry, interview with people knowledgeable with the process. Okay, you can use reperformance. You can reperform a process. You can use analytical review, comparison, trend analysis, data against data. And of course, data analytics, very important in audit evidence collection. So use of CATs, computer assisted audit tools, embedded audit module, CRS, audit book, ITF, generalized audit software, and so on and so forth. Then finally, you have gathered the evidence, you have to write a report. So the report must be comprehensive, it must contain all the significant findings. Then at the end of the audit, maybe like 2, 3, 4 months, you need to come back for follow-up, which is basically the final closure of the audit. Have they executed your recommendation? So if you need more detailed training on Cisa, you can contact me on +2348033587126. You can send me a WhatsApp message, and definitely I will be able to attend to you. So please subscribe to my channel. I have more wonderful educative videos in store. So kindly subscribe to my video. to my channel. Thank you so much.